Have you ever felt tempted to just try to keep the peace when you feel conflict rising? Is your instinct to just say what you need to say to dispel the frustration, to appease the other person? If some of that might sound familiar to you, you might be struggling with people-pleasing tendencies. So that's what I'm going to unpack in today's video. So before we get started, let me just take a moment to briefly introduce myself. Hello, my name is Marissa Senya, and I am a freedom coach. I help women who are feeling trapped or stuck in unhealthy or toxic relationship dynamics gain the clarity, confidence, and support that they need so that they can make a peaceful exit from relationship dynamics that no longer serve them. So today I kind of want to unpack this popular topic that you see being explored all over the land of YouTube. And it's just to talk about people pleasing. And that's something I think most of us, especially as women, may struggle with on some varying level, or have had a real challenge addressing that nature within us to want to appease another party. So while it might initially, on first instinct, it might sound like, what's wrong with that? You want to make sure that the people around you are good, they're happy, and you want to make sure that conflict doesn't get out of hand. If conflict arises, you want to lean towards a solution. And that might be the allure. That might be the pull of wanting to appease, right? And wanting to people please, essentially. But of course, there are dangers with that. And so I just want to take a moment to unpack some of the sneaky dangers of being a people pleaser. And this is in no particular order. So the first is that we teach people how to treat us, right? What we accept, we will see more of. Let me say that again. We teach people how to treat us. What we accept, we will see more of. Okay, for example, if somebody addressing you in a harsh tone or snapping at you when you say something that they don't like is something that makes you feel off and you just cannot tolerate, then don't put up with that in a new relationship. Set that boundary very early. For example, I recalled listening to an interview that Prince Harry did a while back when he was talking about the early days of his courtship with his now wife, Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle. And this was when he was just kind of sharing what eventually led him to really, really do some deep work with healing some of his own childhood wounds. So I think they were just it's like early in their courtship process. I think just maybe 2 or 3 dates in or something like that. And they got into a conversation that he felt uncomfortable by. And I think she asked some sort of a question that really triggered something inside of him. And he gave her a harsh response back. And in that moment, I think that was the first time that Meghan had seen this aspect of him. She could have done one of two things. She could have just continued to push past that and try to focus on solving the problem or address it. And what I love about her response, based on what Harry had said in this interview, was that she paused and she ended the conversation. And she chose to walk away. She went to another room. She took herself away from the conflict. And it gave him a moment to pause and think about how he had reacted to her and see what was wrong with that situation. And then when he was ready to go meet her and address that issue, because at that point in time, it was no longer about the actual discussion. It was, hey, we've hit a line. And Meghan set that tone and set that boundary early of, wait a minute, I'm not gonna just sit here and accept somebody talking to me in a way that that is wrong, that feels wrong to me. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your pedigree is. I don't care who your parents are. You cannot talk to me that way. And I said, yes. Meghan set that boundary very early in her relationship. And in this interview, Harry reflected on that moment being a turning point moment for him to really dig deeper and do some inner work. And I think he was able to pursue, additional, therapy in a more meaningful way and things of that nature as a result of that moment. But that is the beautiful thing, is that in that moment, she taught him, hey, you're not going to treat me like that. You're not going to talk to me that way. I will not put up with that. I don't care who you are. And it goes back to the lesson. We teach people how to treat us. What we accept, we will see more of. And if Meghan could have ignored it and be like, he's Prince Harry, like, he's got other good qualities. But she said, no, I don't tolerate that. This is a boundary for me, and I don't care who he is. He will talk to me with respect. And she set that tone early, and it worked. And that is something that when you're a people pleaser, it's very hard to do, to draw those boundaries, because the instinct is to say, oh, it's okay, I can, they were just mad, is to make excuses for the other person. But that is obviously a slippery slope, so don't do that. All right, another point that I want to take to unpack on this topic is point number 2, is that when you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. That's an old adage that has been said time and time again. I don't know how many spaces that I've heard that saying, but over the years, I've just come to realize how true that is. When you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Accepting and making compromises that go against our values will always lead to despair. Perhaps it might not happen immediately. You might not feel regret in the immediate run, but over time, it comes, because there's a chipping away that happens. There's a chipping away in your spirit that happens when you continue to make compromises that are not right for you, that feel wrong, that go against things that you hold dear in order to appease or maintain a relationship. So yes, it may not happen immediately, but like I said, it's a chipping away effect. In the short term, it can look like this is a quick and easy way to solve the problem, the conflict that just occurred, and it seems like there's peace again, but it's not peace, because you are paying the price of your needs not being met, of your concerns, of you not being seen and heard as an equal person in your partnership or relational dynamic. And so, where does this come from? This immediate temptation to want to just go along to get along? Well, obviously it can come from, early childhood trauma, early childhood environments that were really unhealthy, that we learned how to adapt some survival mechanisms to navigate those toxic adults that may have been in our lives, or toxic environments that we were placed in through no choice or fault of our own. But here's the beautiful thing of being an adult. You get to reparent yourself. You get to address the wrongs that your inner child, the little child in you, the little girl in you, could not, right? That little child was helpless and didn't have that support. But here's the beauty of adulthood. You get to come back and shine a light on those things, on those situations that forced you into survival mode, and come in with a place and the purpose to heal. And that is the beauty of now, right? Because we can sit and be like, man, I didn't have this. Oh, I wish, if only my childhood had looked like this, if only I had these types of parents, or if only I was, I had this type of dynamic. And there's danger in that. There is complete danger in that, because you're fantasizing about something that could never be, right? What you can do is take your power back now, right? Become equipped with these tools that I'm mentioning of seeing and reflecting and honing the beauty of being an adult, where you get to say, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I didn't have a choice then. I had to act that way then, but I don't have to do that now, right? These are my values, and I'm not compromising for anyone. You either come along and we're in alignment, or we go our separate ways, and that is okay. That is okay, because I'm good by myself in this corner, right? And that is the beauty of adulthood. You get to say that to yourself. So we have these learned behaviors, right? Myself included, that I've had to unlearn and continue to unlearn. And there's beauty in the unlearning, because now your inner child, the little girl that couldn't do anything about being in a toxic environment and had to have those survival mechanisms, now you're addressing that wound and saying, I got you. That's what we had to do, but we don't have to do that anymore, okay? Now we're on a new path, and healing looks good on you. This is what you get to have now, right? So that is the beauty of taking the time to address some of these things, these tendencies, especially as recovering people pleasers, or somebody who's recognizing that you have a pattern of people pleasing. It's not too late. It can start now. It starts now by just asking that question of, when was the first time, or when did I feel like I couldn't express my needs? Why do I do that? Does that make me feel safer? Or is this something I'm doing in order to avoid conflict? And where did that come from? And when you start to ask those curious questions, and journal what some of those responses will be, it starts a fascinating journey of discovering and uncovering some things that will be incredibly healing for you. So I'm going to pause there by unpacking, because there's so many dangers of being a people pleaser, but I just wanted to kind of address two big sneaky ones that I think we tend to take for granted and not consider the harm in them. But if this content resonated with you and is talking about things like freedom and healing and living your best life as a woman, this is content that you want to see more of, make sure that you like and you are subscribing to this channel, and definitely share with another woman you know could benefit from it. So until next time, keep well.